Hello, folks. Welcome. I am Jon Najarian, and I'm with two really smart young crypto traders. Um, uh, it's interesting. These guys are about the age that I was when I got down to the exchange just after college. They're both just out of college and have been killing it in the crypto space for us, CJ and Matt. I think you guys are going to enjoy the conversation. The guy with the more full beard and the planets rising behind him, that's CJ. And the guy with the Marvel MCU or Marvel Comics Universe, I think, on the wall behind him, that's Matt. And I am Jon Najarian. We're all with Market Rebellion guys, except CJ and Matt are Market Rebellion Crypto. And if you'd like to check it out, I'd encourage you to. They have a special going on right now for $1 a month into the crypto room. I don't know how you could beat that. It's just marketrebellion.com/crypto, right, guys? CRYPTO. And then you'd be able to be in there. You'll see the chat rooms, the charts, and all that fun stuff. And what better time to be talking about crypto than a week like this, where just in the last week, guys, we saw Bitcoin go from whatever, 43,000 to 58,000, back down to 48,000, back to 52, I think, or so, back down now trading what, 46.5, 46.6, something like that. And that's, of course, just one of the many cryptos that both these guys talk about, that I trade as well. And I try to hold as much as I can. But every once in a while, my trader side takes over, but not really for Bitcoin. I have just been hodling that, guys. And obviously, I'm not a maximalist. These guys are far more diverse even than I am, but I have a bunch of the altcoins as well. So I'm not just so, I do like DeFi an awful lot. But other than that, I think if you want to learn about crypto, if you want to be in a room chatting with other traders about crypto, really few better places than this, because these guys had a mining setup in their dorm room when they were in school. They basically, had to just open all the windows and let the rigs run and go sleep in the broom closet or something.
During the winter, we didn't need heat. It was nice. It's cold up here in Illinois, so.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure all of those, all the fruits of your labors back then are paying off big time. But this is the Daily Crypto Byte. We don't want to take up too much of your time, but I just want to show you guys a couple charts real quick, and then introduce again Matt and CJ to you, who will comment a little bit, give you an idea of what you might expect in the room. But take a look at these charts if you could, guys, because number one, we've got volumes, of course, like crazy in cryptos right now. And I thought an interesting thing, guys, was how little of it is actually happening on the Merc. That's not a slam on my friends at the CME, but when you look at the volumes that are trading for Bitcoin futures options, man, it is everywhere but there. It really is. Yeah, I mean, it's this much. Are you able to pull that chart up?
Yeah, that chart's up right now.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I just couldn't see it.
Yeah.
But that's something that I think is worth noting, folks, is that right now, most of the volume that trades in options, like 95% or something like that, is on places like Deribit and elsewhere. I mean, it is not on the CME. And again, that's not a slam. I love the guys at the CME, but a lot of DeFi folks don't want to be on an exchange right now. That's one of the issues. The other is take a look at Bitcoin price versus volatility, maybe. Volatility is about 5 to 10 times as high as it is for an awful lot of commodities. To see Bitcoin trading at a high vol right now is not terribly surprising because of the run it's had and because of what I just described to you guys. In a 48-hour period, 45, 58, 46, 53. I mean, those are crazy numbers, and obviously those are in the thousands for a Bitcoin or a BTC. But we'll talk more about volatility and so forth at another time. I want to let CJ and Matt talk a little bit as well. And on a daily basis, we'll try to give you guys an update on which coins the guys are most interested in trading, and my perspective from a guy that likes to occasionally, not with Bitcoin as much, but with these altcoins especially, do some trading and hedging. But let me throw it back over to you guys and give us a little insight into what's going on today.
Thank you, John. And thank you very much for that very nice introduction. I'm going to just kind of lead into something that you were talking about. And I actually kind of like that you mentioned the 57, 45, 56, 46, because that's kind of what I'm going to talk about today is how to trade this sort of period of, we feel like we're in bearish neutral consolidation, but we're still getting massive volatile swings between the previous swing high and the current swing low. So I have a chart up right now. And if you look, we found very good support here at 45K at this setup support from this TD sequential red 9. And now, like John pointed out, vol is at an all-time high for Bitcoin because of the absolute insane run-up we've had in the last month. So what I'm watching for now is opportunities to kind of trade in this interim cycle. And to, as you can see, the candles have bounced perfectly off this 45K during our first descent. And now once again today, we got this really nice bounce off this level. So I'm going to start trying to use this as a way to maybe make some profits and kind of increase my HODL stack in the long term by just swing trading this throughout. One other thing that CJ and I have been harping on this week is how these indicators that were once bullish support indicators have now flipped to become resistance indicators. And I think that's very apparent with the Bollinger Bands. So one thing that I'm looking for as an indication that the bounce off this 45K level may be exhausted is when we hit this yellow Bollinger Band here. As you can see during our entire run up, it was actually really solid support and we didn't have too many candle body closes below this level. So now I expect it to act as similarly strong resistance going forward. And as you can see in the past 2 days, it has kind of served as the price ceiling for our interim price action. So that's what I'm going to be watching closely. I expect us to continue to retest this 45K level, but I'm not too sure if we're going to go below that. I think I'll pass it to CJ and see what he thinks about that.
Appreciate the kind words, guys. Great to be part of this Daily Crypto Byte. Very excited to begin it with you fine gentlemen. But touching on that point about the 45K support level, that is the 618 Fibonacci level on the weekly chart. It's been a very strong support level thus far. However, the one detail that I would like to point out, and this one's on the weekly chart as well, is just from our recent decline from about 42K. Last time we were initially rejected on the way up, we saw approximately 34% correction. And in 2017, all throughout the run-up, we had about 5 corrections of about 30%. Now, we had kind of wondered this time around, all right, since MicroStrategy, since Square, since all of these corporations are in on Bitcoin, maybe those pullbacks will be a little less severe. So far, we've pulled back 24% from our recent high, about 57K. So we could go down a little bit more, but approximately a total correction of 34% would take us down to approximately the 37 to 30K level. So while that 45K level is holding for now, the more we test that level, essentially the weaker it becomes and the more it lines up for that 37 targets. Now, I don't want to be warning for that bearish price action, but based on how the equity market has been performing thus far this week, I think we are seeing a little bit of negative price action bleed into Bitcoin as a result of a sell-off in some of those tech stocks. But with that,
yeah, I mean, that's the cool thing too, guys, is that as much as you guys are different from the rest of us in a whole bunch of ways, but not the least of which, you guys are trading, decentralized, in many cases, DeFi currencies or assets, and yet a lot of the same sort of Fibonacci and technical analysis applications that AJ Monty might be running for us on equities obviously a lot of that same chart pattern recognition, just regular pattern recognition as well, are what drive a lot of people to, I've always said, joked, guys, that every ship at the bottom of the sea was loaded with charts. I always give that to AJ and all these chart guys. But, on more than one occasion, they've reminded me that, yeah, but if you paid attention to the charts, you wouldn't have hit the rocks. So I think that charts certainly make it easier for people to have conviction at certain levels. And everybody's a little different. Some people are using 200-day, 50-day. Some people are using minute charts and so forth. An awful lot of us have a little more comfort in exactly what Matt described when Matt was describing, CJ, a dip, and saying, well, if we truly see a correction, or like you said, if we see a 34%, like we saw previously, if we saw a 34% correction, not a regular 20%, but if it got all the way to 34%, where it could take it down to, you can bet that there'd be people lined up at various levels like that. And then with shorter term moves, they'd be lined up saying, well, 46 is held in here pretty good a couple times. I think I'm going to put my bids right down, right here at this level if we start pushing back up. So anyway, I'd encourage you folks to check out what the guys are doing and to check us out with the Daily Crypto Byte. If you go to marketrebellion.com/trycrypto, you can get it for $1 a month, $1 a month. And you won't believe how much content is on the site. And with that, I'll throw it back to the guys to say, we'll be back here Monday.
Yeah, thank you guys all so much for watching. This is going to be a lot of fun going forward. We're just going to start off the day with bringing you some crypto news and some crypto price action. And yeah, it's going to be an exciting ride. So that's all we got for today. Anything you want to add, CJ, before we sign off?
Just touching on some of those benefits and those contents of the service. We have trade ideas on a weekly basis, as well as our macro portfolio allocations, and a pro charting platform and a cryptocurrency education curriculum. So with that being said, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you guys for joining us today. Be back next week. And by the way, you could always, through Market Rebellion on Twitter or whatever, Market Rebels, send us some questions and so forth, and we'll get to those on the show. Thank you.